Jason Kelce was voted sexiest man.
Well, listen, I'm not going to knock it.
It's a win for men everywhere.
If we're going to give slightly overweight, bearded white guys sexiest men alive, here I am. Sign me up.
Here we go.
I'm ready to take my award next year. Like, it is what it is. All right, Steamers, we are back with another edition of More Steam.
Yes, we are.
The basketball edition.
Yep.
With a little football at the end. We're going to talk Super Bowl at the end. Can't get football out of our brains.
No, you can't.
And so, but first, let's dive into what we want to talk about. Tennessee basketball. And we heard from the Steamers. We're going to talk Lady Vols basketball as well.
Got to, because they've had a hell of a season as well.
It's unreal.
I mean, they're from going where we are. Granted, the conference record isn't all that great, but you go undefeated out of conference. We're still very much in play for a high tournament seed.
Much like the SEC in football, it is the best conference in women's basketball.
Without a doubt.
So, new coach. She had a baby in the middle of the season.
She had a baby in the middle of the season and came back in 3 days.
Oh, I love it.
In 3 days.
I am a massive
I'm going to walk down the stairs from here, roll my ankle, and I'll be out for a week, okay? She gave birth to a child.
I played golf Saturday, and I thought I couldn't move my arms through yesterday. Yeah. So, nothing but respect.
Absolute badass. I mean, that's just it.
Complete and total badass. She's got some Pat Summit in her.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to compare it yet, but she's got some personality traits that we like to see. So, but let's go. Do you want to start men's or do you want to start women's first
I have the men's schedule on my phone pulled up.
Love it.
And I see you do as well.
I do as well.
So let's do that. So Wednesday night, that's tonight.
As we record.
By the time this is out for all of your wonderful eyes,
we will have beaten Missouri.
You'll know more than we will, but we're predicting a solid dub.
Yep. Finally, they had a little rough stretch there.
Well, both programs did.
Got back on the train here.
Yep.
Even with Sakai and Igor out, heck of a performance. 20-point win.
Let's just talk about that. 20-point win, top 5 team.
Unreal.
With two of, really the only two, not to offend any of our guys, the only 2 players that were, consistently showing up. I mean, Chaz had a fantastic, November through early January. Been a little bit cold as of late. That tends to happen, especially when you're scoring 30 points a game.
Long season.
Is what it is. Exactly, long season. But you have your team leader in terms of minutes played, points, your emotional leader, Sakai. He's out, bum knee, I think.
Yep. Still a little banged up from the other game.
Which happens. You have Igor, who's been massive surprise out of the transfer portal, brings the energy, gets the boards, has a nice little jump shot too. Yeah, oh yeah.
Big fan of Igor.
Both of them are out. You get a team that beat us by 30.
I know.
I mean, B2A.
50-point swing.
That's what I'm saying. And then awesome.
I was telling some guys I was golfing Saturday during the game, watching on our phones as we were playing. It was probably somehow a positive for those 2 guys because it forced the rest of the guys to step up. And they did. They answered the bell, and that's all you can ask. And so, huge performance from the rest of the guys Saturday. Massive win for the program.
Without doubt.
Just kind of you just got to see one go in. You're on a losing streak. You got to get a win. Now we're back. Let's see how we can, pull it together. Big game tonight against Missouri. And then at Oklahoma. Between now and the next time we record next Wednesday, you got at Oklahoma and then at Kentucky. I would love a little revenge there. Everybody else seems to be beating them. I don't know why we couldn't. But here we are. We got a chance coming up this week.
Oh, it's like you said. Maybe it was, taking those 2 players out of the puzzle. It's like Chaz stepped up, had a good game. Gainey was our point guard for half of it. Jemai did a little bit of that too. It's like we talk all the time. I know it kind of related to our wide receiver room during football season. It's like we have so many guys. And then, they can just go dormant. And you're like, well, I thought we had all these studs. It's like, well, they actually got to step up and go play, too. So I think we have a lot of, don't call me during more steam. I don't know who that was. That was,
I hope it's a steamer watching, and they're just like, just bang my call right there in the middle of the show.
So rude. I apologize. You get those guys to step up, start playing a little cohesively, and be able to make the shot when it comes.
100%.
And, man, it seems like we do that with Kentucky. We'll lose at home and then beat them there.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you ever see sweeps of that.
That's true. Series. And, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Kentucky is what they are. They're a blue blood basketball program. That's a tough team to beat anytime, no matter if Calipari is there, if, Mark Pope's there, or if racist Rupp comes back. I don't know. They're always going to be tough. So they're a tough team. It is what it is. So anytime we can get a win there, I never take that for granted because there was a lot of years that we did not beat them. And so I'm happy that we're here. Like to go to Lloyd Noble Center at Oklahoma, one of the weirdest basketball arenas in the world, in my opinion. It's a hole. So you walk in, and then they've dug out, and everything is down.
So from the outside, it's just like a one-story building?
Yeah, it's like, it's probably like a 2-story building. And you're like, that doesnn't seem big enough. And you go inside and you're like, oh, you walk in and you're at the top.
Interesting.
And everything goes down. It's very weird. It's a very bizarre place.
You didn't like it?
No, not really. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not it's not like Rupp Arena or anything fancy, but it's fine. Thompson Bowl is significantly better. Doesn't seat as many, but an odd little place. I've never been to an arena that's like dug into the ground before.
I don't know that I have either.
Probably because all the tornadoes they get, but I don't know if that's for sure.
Where you know?
Look at modern day engineering. That would be my guess.
There you go.
Now, I don't know how that doesn't apply to the football stadium, which is massive there, but, who knows?
Because tornadoes typically go like around football.
Yeah, that's true. They should avoid it. They're like, can't mess with.
They know
this
better.
Is God's
they
sport.
see like the yard lines.
They're like, whoa, can't mess with that.
I watched the Twisters movie. That's true.
That Twisters movie is fantastic.
It was pretty good.
We can stop this podcast right now.
Yeah,
and I will just talk Twisters.
This could be like a movie review. Maybe that's what more you missed. No, it's not.
Also, I probably see one movie a year in theaters, and that's the one I chose to go see, and it was worth it.
Yeah, solid, great soundtrack.
Oh, fantastic. Luke Combs, my God.
Every single artist on there. I mean, they could not miss. Every single one.
This is going to turn into a Twisters podcast.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll stop.
All right, let's go Lady Vols now. That's the men. Yep. We got some games coming up.
That's the outlook.
It's going to be tough.
Looking pretty good.
We'll see what happens. I think we win them all because we always do.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably, not that regular season conference titles matter, we're probably out of that.
Yeah.
That's cool
like
to
we
say.
said on the last one, just get to March and let's see what happens.
Exactly. Like those are cool. We won the regular season last year, got bounced in the first round of the SEC tournament, made it to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Year before, or maybe 2 years before, it was one of Zakai's years. Maybe it was his freshman year with Kennedy. Yeah. Yep. We don't win the league, and then we win the tournament. And there's, they got a picture up in the facility. Like, that's cool.
I don't care about those things. I want to go to the
cool
Final
for
Four.
like 2 seconds.
So I would trade all of those for a Final Four trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather miss the tournament, somehow still make the NCAA tournament Final Four. 100%.
Yeah, all day, every day. Lady Vols, as you're watching this, it is Wednesday as we record. As you're watching it, it's probably like Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. So UConn, big matchup. Mm-hmm. I mean, the history between the two programs is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I have a good feeling about it. We'll see. They're a massive out. Like, they're a tough team to play. Yeah. The two best women's basketball programs in the history
of all time. Lady Vols are in a similar predicament as the men. In conference records are not great. They both obviously started undefeated. That's well documented. But all these games they've lost, I'm going to go through it. I mean, they just beat Missouri, but they lost to South Carolina, number 2 team in the country.
Yep.
7 points. They lost to Texas, number 7 team in the country, at Texas, 4 points. They lost to Vanderbilt, at Vanderbilt, 1 point. They beat Mississippi State, beat Arkansas, and then here's the other one, LSU, at the time between 6 and 4, depending on where you get your rankings, 2 points. So are they a top 10 team? No, but you're right there.
Yeah.
You're right there. So I think we knew that, first year head coach, had a child, brand new roster, you have some people, the Tess Darbys, the Sarah Puckett's of the old roster. Then you have, Jewel Spear too.
Yep.
And then you got Talisha Cooper. You got all of them coming in. Interesting to see what you're going to get. You wonder though, is it next year where they're going to make that step and you win those games, or is it tonight?
I view this women's team kind of like 2021 football.
Okay.
Heupel's first year.
Good take.
And so you're going to have some teams that just beat you because they're better. It would not surprise me if UConn blows them out, because that's just a program that's been at their peak for a consistent time. So you look at 2021, we played Georgia, Alabama, they smoked us, right?
Yep.
But, this is a team that's doing a lot of fun things, playing a fun brand of basketball. They've got seniors that are bought in, even if it's a new coach, that they're there, they're pouring their heart into it. They're winning some games, keeping some games close. Their version of Missouri, 62 points against them for Heupel and them. So, I think I view this team as as a 2021 football team, sort of. It's I don't expect them to win the conference. I expect them to play a fun brand of basketball and be competitive. And in basketball, have a couple upsets, beat some good programs. And I think that's the trajectory they're on. So I would consider this season a massive success, no matter what happens. just because, again, I think it's brought some life into the program that we haven't had the last couple of years. So I've watched more Lady Vols basketball this year than I did in the last 2 years.
Me too.
Just because, again, it's a fun brand of basketball. I like the pace they play. I like the intensity that they play with. So I am enjoying it and entertaining. And that's kind of how I felt in 2021 for football. It's like we'd had those period years where it was not fun to watch.
No, you
and all of a sudden you get that spark of life.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, yeah, is this the year that they just kick everybody's butt? No. We'll see. I mean, they got a few games coming up.
No.
You know, they got UConn, they got LSU again. Is Auburn any good at women's basketball?
So.
I don't think so. Those are the two. I mean, you got
two chances to make a massive statement.
Exactly. Then you're right back in the
thick of things. If UConn rolls in and you upset them, you are propelled to the top of the world there. So we'll see what they do. I mean, Talasia Cooper has been a ton of fun to watch, averaging like 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, doing a little bit of everything.
Had a great year.
Z's having a great year. Like, it's a fun team, and it's a lot of transfers. So, like, they are clearly identifying talent in the portal, going down and get them. They've got a great recruiting class.
I was going to say, let's talk about that recruiting class next year.
An elite recruiting class coming in to kind of pair with those people. So, if you get Talasia, who's got more time with some of these freshmen, like, maybe next year is the year they take the jump. Because in basketball, more so than football, freshmen can change everything. You look at Duke and inside, the Cooper Flags, K&M, like, we've seen it a ton on the men's scene as, like, these one-and-dones that come in and they create success for the programs. I think the women are starting to catch up to that. Like you've got impact freshmen coming in all over. You look at Juju Watkins at USC a couple of years ago as a freshman, was just dominating. And like, I think Hannah Hidalgo at Notre Dame, freak freshman guard.
Beckers.
Paige was incredible as a freshman. Caitlin Clark, all these girls that are like propelling the women's game. I think we have some of those in this next class. And so you pair them with some of the girls that we have coming back. I think next year is the year that I've got circled for like, here's our return to prominence in the Lady Vols.
Without a doubt.
So I'm excited for the Lady Vols season. We'll continue to see what happens there. I'll be watching the UConn game. I will be watching the LSU game just to see what Kim Mulkey wears. She looks ridiculous and also awesome. I don't know how she pulls it off.
Yeah.
She is an infuriating person to watch, but I guarantee if she was my coach, I would think she was the greatest person in the history of the world.
Vol Nation would eat her.
Eat her. Yeah, we would love it. So excited to watch those two games, massive games for the program. We'll see what they do, but I'm going to go ahead and call it 2-0. What a shock. You never would have guessed. So here we go. Let's talk a little Super Bowl now.
Let's go.
Do some football. We kind of covered to the Tennessee basketball. We'll dive into those recaps a little more in depth next week because they've got some big games coming up. For Super Bowl, Eagles, Chiefs.
Yes, me straight up?
Not yet. We'll get there.
Okay.
I know producer Dalton's like all Chiefs. He's a Chiefs fanboy.
Yeah, he's doing jumping jacks in the background right now, but
I'm going to hurt his feelings a little bit. It's fine. But so far, the playoffs have been really good, in my opinion. I've really enjoyed them. I think watching the Eagles play is incredible. Love watching Saquon play football. He runs with intensity. He's
what a rejuvenation of a career.
It's almost like going to the right place matters.
Yeah.
If you're not in purgatory, that is the New York Giants franchise. Shout out Jalen Hyatt. I hope he gets out of there at some point. Free Jalen.
Point, man. Just it's so sad.
It's bad. But loved watching him do what they do. It's just the right. Both of these teams, I think, are an example of how the franchise matters. There's a reason these two programs are consistently good. They've done it the right way. They built it up the right way. They got Andy Reid. You got Nick Sirianni, two great coaches, and then the front office. So much.
I mean, the Hunts have done a great job.
Yeah.
Owning, managing the whole thing all the way throughout the Chiefs. Because you got to think, I mean, they started. Pat Mahomes came into a championship winning program.
100%.
And then I'm not going to lie to you. When Sirianni got hired, however many years ago, I did not. I thought he was going to be a bust.
I did too.
I did not have high hopes for him, and I'm not. I think I've mentioned it maybe last week. Big time Bills fan, so playoffs have not gone good. I disagree, but I have really no qualms with the Eagles. But I'm like, that guy kind of seems like a goofball. Very similar to what people are saying right now about Jacksonville's new coach. It's like, I don't think that guy will last 2 Super Bowls with an opportunity to win one.
And again, the Chiefs were good when Patrick Mahomes came in. The Eagles, for most of my life, have been a good program. They've figured it out. They've got a great front office. Even going back to the Donovan McNabb TO days, they're always pretty successful.
TO, baby.
There's a reason that some franchises stay at the top, some stay at the bottom. And it's generally ownership and front office and making those hires because, like, you have to have the players, but you got to have the guy that decides that that's the player.
Exactly.
And so, like, front offices are massively important in all sports, especially now college sports. But those two franchises are just run the right way. It's kind of like Pittsburgh. Like, I think of all of those, like, blue blood programs that are just consistently good. It's because they do it the right way from the front office all the way down to players. Man, I couldn't ask, as an unbiased, I don't have an NFL team. I just like to watch good football, and I'm very excited for the Eagles and Chiefs. I want it to be the Bills, but,
happens.
It is what it is.
Can't do it. Just can't.
So let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit about the game. Who do you think, as we sit here today, game will be on Sunday, who do you think is the MVP? We'll start there.
It's tough because it's like, I want it to be Saquon Barkley. I do. Okay. But I just, in my heart of hearts, I can't say that the Eagles are going to win.
Okay.
I bet on them. I'll just say that. I thought that they were going to win, like, landslide last time they played.
Yep.
Right? Obviously, we saw how that worked out. A couple close calls at the end. The Chiefs had put themselves in a position to win the whole game.
What? The Chiefs got a couple close calls?
Happens. And I just think, granted, it's two different teams. I think the Eagles team looks a whole lot different than they did in the 2 years ago. 2 years ago. The Chiefs, it's kind of the same people doing the same thing. Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs, man. Unfortunately, and I'm saying this out of, like, some pure pain. But I think your Super Bowl MVP is Pat Mahomes. I think Kelsey probably shows up a whole lot more than he did last week. That's for sure.
You know who is going to show up?
Who's that?
Taylor Swift. I bet the over-under for her appearances is like 50 times on
Where
TV.
do you take that?
I would love to take that. Is there a line for that somewhere? I would like to bet on that.
There's that, what's the website that you can bet on, like, events and society?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's that. I don't know.
I don't need to go down more of a rabbit hole.
That's true.
So I avoid those. I think my MVP, I want it to be Saquon. I want the Eagles to win. I actually think the Eagles are going to win.
Okay.
But I think my MVP is going to be A.J. Brown.
Wow.
And that is who I will be placing a small, responsible wager on because I think my odds will also be the highest. But, like, it's not crazy for him to be unless Saquon rushes for, like, 150 and 2 touchdowns, which he could do. But, if A.J. Brown has 85 yards and a touchdown, he might get it.
There you go. It's always tough with receivers, though.
Yep.
And it's because, like, the quarterback's throwing the ball, too. So if they have any other success outside of that one guy, then it's likely going to go to him.
That's why I feel comfortable about A.J. Brown, because I think
that'll be it.
That is it. Like, Jalen Hurts is a fine quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a winner. Not Patrick Mahomes.
No,
he is not Josh Allen. He is not Lamar. Like, he is not Joe Burrow. He is fine.
Yeah.
And productive, but it's not like I have no expectation he's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards.
When you say Jalen Hurts in the same sentence as those other four guys, it's almost like you take, like, the worst attributes of all four. Like, he's got Josh Allen's size, but that's about it. And he's got Mahomes.
Very mean.
He wins somewhat on par with Mahomes, but not all that great. Burrow, he throws a good ball, but, like, not as good, and he's nothing like Lamar. But it's like, you got Jalen Hurts. Like, how do I average these guys and then somehow make it work?
And took their attributes, and I did, like, give me like 75% of that, and then you get Jalen Hurts.
Yep. You know who's going to be the MVP now?
Jalen Hurts, for sure. He's going to rush for 3 touchdowns and
just light him up.
I just think the Eagles are playing the hottest right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I love them.
Dismantled the Commanders.
Yeah. Like, in a playoff scenario, they're just the hottest team. The Chiefs, though, just always find ways to make things happen. So, as I'm looking at the game, I've got it over 48.5 because I think the Eagles are so hot, but Mahomes has that uncanny ability to just make things happen. And so I think they'll keep up with him, keep it close, but I think the Eagles pull it out in the end is my prediction.
Close game, 100%. 100%. This is not both teams are not built to blow out. I think if a team the score differential is going to be more than 10 points, I think the Eagles do find a way to win.
I don't think there's a scenario where the Chiefs blow them out.
No, they just can't do it.
I think there's a scenario where the Eagles do blow them out. If on play 1, Saquon takes it 75 yards to the house, like, it's crazy. Like, Mahomes is the best quarterback, but if they have to throw the ball a ton, I don't feel good about it. And it's not him. It's just they don't have any wide receiver talent. Their wide receivers are subpar. They've got Kelce, but I mean, no offense to Kelce, but he's not what he was 5 years ago. He's getting older.
This could be his last game.
There's a real chance that he just rolls off into the sunset, never to be heard again until the next New Heights podcast that we have to see all over social media.
Which that's a decent podcast. You don't like it?
It's fine.
It's second to More Steam. That's for sure.
It's below More Steam, but I guess I think the Kelce brothers are a little too into being the Kelce brothers right now.
Okay.
I don't want to have beef with the Kelce brothers. I like them.
No.
But the first few episodes, loved that show.
Yeah, it was good.
It feels a little bit like they're caricatures of themselves.
The fact that Jason Kelce was voted sexiest man.
Well, listen, I'm not going to knock it.
It's a win for men everywhere.
If we're going to give slightly overweight, bearded white guys sexiest men alive, here I am. Sign me up.
Here we go.
I'm ready to take my award next year. It is what it is. But I don't know. And I think it's the overhype of all of the they're so amazing. Look how pure and how happy they are. And I think they are, but I don't need you to tell me that. No. I like it. I like their show. I don't need you to force me to like their show.
Yeah. Their clips of their podcast are everywhere.
They got 100%. A machine behind them pumping them
up. But you have arguably the greatest tight end.
Not even close. Nope. No, stop. Full stop. Not even close.
What are you talking? Top five? I mean,
okay. Top five is one thing. Okay. The greatest.
Who's the greatest? Gronkowski?
No, Rob didn't play long enough. I would say
I didn't know I was.
Yeah, you were opening this up.
I didn't know.
Kelce is fine.
Okay,
but Kelce is not Gronk.
No,
it's not Tony Gonzalez.
Well, let me say what I was going to say. You have an extremely popular NFL football player dating the biggest pop star in the world.
Oh yeah.
Right, who happens to have a podcast with his brother who played for 15 years and is probably a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
they both are
for sure. Both Hall of Famers.
So
shout out to their parents.
That's what I'm saying. Good on you.
Good for the Kelce. So they have a third brother that nobody knows about. That would be funny.
Like a Cooper Manning.
Well, he had an injury, so that's why we don't besmudge the Manning name.
I'm not going to, but I'm just saying you have two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and then Cooper, who gave birth
to
probably another.
I think it would be hilarious to have two Hall of Famers, and there's one who's I'm just an accountant.
Yeah,
you're 6'4", 300 pounds. Yeah, just really like numbers.
Wouldn't for me. Okay. That's like Dion's kid, who's the camera guy. No offense to camera guy, Dalton does a great job. I'm just saying,
sounds like Shiloh's gonna have to learn how to hold a camera soon.
Well,
it's not going well for him.
Get ready to learn taxes, buddy.
Shout out to taxes. They're coming up. We got a bunch of football players who need to learn them too. But to the tight ends. I want to go back to tight ends.
Yeah, tight ends, right?
He's not in the top. I don't even know if he's in my top 5.
I mean,
I got over him. I got Tony Gonzalez.
Okay.
Antonio Gates.
Okay.
I've got
Gronk
for sure. Yep. Shannon Sharp.
Okay. Shannon Sharp's a pull.
Shannon Sharp was unreal. In his era when they weren't doing that, it was unreal. And then you probably do Kelce. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, but I loved Dallas Clark, but he's better than he was. Shout out Aaron Hernandez, obviously. Would have been an all-timer, but also an all-time gangbanger, so he couldn't put the Glock down to catch the football. So that one's tough.
Hard to catch it one-handed.
Yeah. Dude, I was laughing about this, and we were just off the rails. I was laughing about Aaron Hernandez. I saw a clip about it. It's one of the former Florida players on a podcast talking about their team and how good he was, and I was like, it's weird that he was on pace to be a Hall of Famer, and now the only image in my head when somebody says Aaron Hernandez is him walking out in handcuffs with that white shirt over him.
Yep.
That is the lasting image. And then all the graphic details of the horrendous things he did. But, I think of him being in his perp walk, not in the uniform.
No, that is what I mean. Think about it, they've made a show about him. They had the Florida Gators documentary, which briefly.
That was the worst documentary in the history of the world. The Swamp Kings was horrendous.
Well, it was a whiff. It was a complete whiff.
We didn't talk about any of the good stuff.
You have so much material. Much material.
A preacher, a racist, and a murderer on the same team, and we just glossed over it.
And Urban Meyer's your coach.
What are we doing?
Riley Cooper was apparently a pretty big racist at the time.
Massive racist.
You got the Pouncey brothers, who also kind of covered up some Aaron Hernandez stuff. Also killed a guy. Maybe. Who knows?
May or may not have murdered someone.
Allegedly.
Key point, allegedly.
You
had Aaron Hernandez, who did kill people.
100%.
Don't have to allegedly that one. That one's fact.
Multiple.
Then you had like Tebow, who was like the face of college football, and like allegedly
could do no wrong.
The nicest guy in the history of the world.
Yeah. So I've heard.
I want to know how that locker room was. That had to be fascinating.
And they won championships.
Dominated that era.
Won champion. I mean, they suppressed Nick Saban's out. I mean,
it's what a whiff.
But we got Swamp King.
That was terrible.
So that was like, how do we make something that doesn't make anybody mad? And that's what they did.
Yeah, like we want to talk about one of the greatest dynasties in the last 30 years, and like just not really talk about it.
Not at all.
It was crazy. It was
a waste of time.
What else do we want to talk Super Bowl?
Yeah, Super Bowl, right.
Yeah, we spun there. That's really good.
Noted, Travis Kelce, not a top 5 tight end, allegedly, according to Will Watkins.
I gave him 5. I ended up saying he's
okay. Not a top 4 tight end.
Not a top 4 tight end. Let's see. Other players that I'm looking forward to watching.
Is there a defensive touchdown? Those are always fun. That's a good prop.
I love that prop. Is there going to be a safety? That's a good one in the Super Bowl. I think it's only happened like one time. It was like the Seahawks Broncos has a safety like to start.
Oh yeah, like first play.
Yeah.
Very sad.
That one, I think there's going to be a defensive touchdown, and I think both defenses are really good. Mm-hmm. So I'll say I'm gonna sprinkle some on that.
Sure.
I'll see what the line is.
Just have some fun with it.
I think it's Cooper DeJean because greatest cornerback in the game, White Lightning. He's definitely not, but like, buddy, we are back. We hadn't had a white corner in like forever, and all of a sudden there's like 4 in the NFL right now.
I know. They all kind of spawned at one time.
Different breed. I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
I don't know what happened.
Shout out Iowa,
They're crushing it. 20 years. Yeah, they're all probably like 19, 20. I don't know what happened 19, 20 years ago, but like there are some white kids that got some talent that I did not get.
I think lightning struck
like
somewhere.
I did not get that speed
in the plains of Middle America.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? One of my favorite. We're going to spiral again. One of my favorite things in the world is just watching high school basketball highlight tapes from like NFL players or like even NBA players. It's like, can you imagine you're like, I don't know, 10th, 11th grade you, and you're like, algebra was so hard today. But we got this game tonight, and here's Cooper DeJean just dunking on your face, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
I'm trying to just smack on this girl I got a crush in the bleachers, and now she's watched Cooper DeJean put his
posterize me.
Yeah, like put his stuff in my face. And like now I got to go back and like do my algebra homework. This is a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, you finish up getting your like school provided lunch, and like you go to your locker, change out, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's LeBron James. Like, oh, nice.
Yeah, great.
You're gonna play in the NBA next year. Oh, sick.
I probably just would skip that game. I'd be like, I just got a nagging ankle injury. I don't know what happened. Like we had when I was in high school, we had a kid named Bo Brown who ended up going to like play at a smaller school, but like he had some offers from like UTC. Mm-hmm. So like a good prospect. And like every day we had basketball during 6th period. That was when our practices were. Mm-hmm. I would have to, and I played the 3, he played the 3. I would have to come in and guard him. And then I would never get to play in games. And I was like, buddy.
This is awful.
I was like a sophomore and I was just getting abused every single day in practice by this kid. And then just sitting there on the bench. I'm like, can I just go play JV? Yeah. Like, can I at least go play?
Like, I don't like this.
This is not fun. I'm getting dunked on every day. And like, I'm coming out sweating everywhere. Oh, disaster.
Awful.
It was awful.
My junior year, first year playing varsity, we played against this guy, Seven McGee, right? And I played high school football in New York. Not a ton of, New York's not really known for their high school football talent. Sure. This kid, though, went to Oregon. So if there was talent, they found it. It's him. And it's first game of the year, hyped up. Varsity football, feeling good. Like people, everyone's in the crowd cheering us on. He touched the ball 3 times. He scored 3 times. He actually, 4 times. The 4th one was on a 2-point conversion, which we did tackle him.
Nice.
But I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything
not
like
fair.
it. No. Thankfully, I was playing middle linebacker. He was a receiver, running back, so I never really had to. It wasn't me getting embarrassed. It's just everybody else.
High school senior year, we played. I think it was Notre Dame, the high school in Chattanooga. And they had like a kid that had like all these D1 offers at like tackle. And I will never forget. You're just watching their team come out and it's like 5'10", 5'9", 6'5", 300. You're like, oh, that's the guy.
Like, I wonder who's going.
And he just tossing our people around. We're running a wishbone with like a white running back. And like they just dominating us. We won district.
Okay.
We got to go to state.
Let's go.
And then first play of state tournament, our best player was our white running back. Broke his ankle on the first play. And I was like, well, we're just going to get obliterated.
It's a wrap.
I was like, it's been fun.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys back in calculus tomorrow.
Count your wins.
Yep.
Right.
So.
Okay. Super Bowl.
Oh, yes. Let's do final score prediction.
Okay. Let's do it. I do agree with the over 48. Gosh, though, I mean, I think this goes about as close to the wire as possible.
Yep.
I mean, I'm thinking 31, 28. I mean,
we're right there on the same spot then. I've got 34-31 Eagles.
Okay. I'll go Chiefs on mine, but I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think, like you said, that defensive touchdown, major possibility.
Yeah, I like that.
Because it's going to, you have both teams, like, I don't know their season-long stats on turnovers and all that, but I mean, there's going to be some very pressing situations of they're going to have to make a play, and, defense can make plays too.
Let's see. You can currently get Philadelphia defense anytime touchdown plus 650, or you could get Kansas City defense plus 700.
Depends on what you want.
Yep. So you can pick either one. Another one I'll throw out there of one of my favorite bets that I will be betting in playoff games. They jacked it up a little bit. Patrick Mahomes rushing yards.
Okay.
The guy rushes the ball in big games. Doesn't get hit, but third down, he's going to scramble and go get it. Like, usually this line's at 17.5, 18.5. It's up to 28.5, so it's a little higher than I would like. Probably still going to take it because, you'll look up at the end of one of those games, and especially in the last 2 years, it feels like Mahomes' line's all right, big game, 240 yards, 1 touchdown, 50 yards rushing, and we win. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I will be betting that one responsibly. Of
course.
I'm going to have Saquon heavy. I think Saquon's just a monster. He's playing at a level that we haven't seen in a couple of years from a running back. Just doing so many good things for them. And the Eagles, their offensive line scheme is unreal. Love I thought, their ability to replace Jason Kelce, who was one of the best centers of all time.
Yeah.
Athletic freak. And they just haven't really missed a beat.
It's
unreal. So I'm going to go Eagles. You're going to go Chiefs. Let's see. What can we make a little wager here between you and I?
I don't know.
Since we are opposed here. This doesn't get to happen. Usually it's just we pick Tennessee.
Right. I know. We've finally taken the balls out of the equation.
So.
Well, if the Chiefs win, I'll bring you a Travis Kelce jersey to wear for the next episode.
Okay. If Chiefs win, I'll wear a Travis Kelce jersey in the next episode.
What happens if the Eagles win?
If the Eagles win, you have to open next week's show singing the chorus to a Taylor Swift song.
Easy.
Boom.
Easy.
There we go.
Easy.
Now we have our wager here for Morris team.
Just to be, in case we didn't hear it, if the Chiefs win, Watkins will be rocking the good old red 87.
Yep.
If the Eagles win, I will.
And I get to pick the song.
You gotta let me know ahead of time.
Yeah, I'll give you the lyrics.
Okay,
I'll send them Sunday night as the game ends.
Yeah, that's easy.
I'll be looking. If you guys want to leave comments on suggested songs, please do. I will have a beautiful ballad here for.
I'm gonna put on a performance.
The songbird of a generation right here.
Let's go.
So
okay.
All right, Morris team. We are gonna be.
I kind of hope they lose now. I might do it anyway.
We're gonna be back next week, and next week we're gonna talk a little bit more about the future of the show and some plans that I have to kind of take the content outside of the studio at some point.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on some locations, getting those cleared up, but just bringing some more diversity to Morris team. So look for that next week. We will see you guys next week. Have fun.